Hello. Who is there online? I want us to do a quick chat, very quick one, looking at gender-based violence and children. Hello, yes, I see you. I see you already there. Thank you for coming online. Thank you, Delphine. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I want us to quickly talk about gender-based violence, women and children. How do women treat other people's children? Because that is a kind of violence that we have, but we don't seem to recognize it. So I want us to quickly look at it. Hey, I see everybody who is there. Yes, welcome on board. I want us to quickly look at how we treat other people's children as women. Yes, hey, Marvin, thank you, welcome. Hey, my friend Tabe and John, welcome, I see you. Yeah, I want us to talk about gender-based violence. We've been talking on violence on women. We've not yet finished with the series because we are going to talk about widowhood and we'll talk about many other things. But today I thought that we should quickly jump in and say something about how we treat other people's children. How do you, as a woman, treat children that are not of you? What I mean of you is children that are not born by you. Some of us women have had the opportunity to get married to men who have children, or to maybe get married to another. Some of us have those who like to be boarded in a polygamous home. You have gotten married to men who have children with other women, and maybe the women are there with you. So today our short discussion is on how we treat these children. How do you treat children that are not your own? This topic, I bring it up because I have discovered that many of us women love children, but I don't know what makes us not to love children of another woman. Especially when we think that we are doubting, we are thinking that it has to do with our husbands, or I don't know, or children who are living under our roof. Sometimes children who are living under our roof, we just treat them as gift. Yes, I'm sorry for that hitch. Yeah, I see you. Abonga Israel, I see you. I'm sorry for that hitch. The signal just went off. Yeah, so the other day I was talking about how we should feel about children. You know, I was saying that if you don't love a man, if that man has children and you don't love his children, don't get married to that man. How do we treat children who are not our children? There are some women who get married to, even though the topic says women, I will talk about both men and women, but with emphasis on women. There are some women who get married to men knowing fully well that this man has a child or has children. You accept to get married to that man. What happens to you when you are in that home? Why do you treat the man's children carelessly? Why do you treat those children as if those children are not human beings? Why do we think so, that they are not human beings? Hey, my son Landry says, first of all, thank you for being my mother. Before we proceed, we give God the glory, my son. Why is it that we think that children born of another woman are not worthy of the love that we have? That love that God gave us so freely. Why can't we radiate this love to other people's children? You go to a home, you see a woman will cook food, and then she will differentiate. She will put maybe 2 slices of meat for her own biological children, and then for the other children, she will take 1 slice and tear into little bit of pieces and give them. That is, if at all she gives them meat. I have watched women quietly, and I have discovered that the heart of some women is wicked. How do you think that your children will eat meat and the other children will not eat meat? Sometimes we'll cook something like in Africa, we look at rice and other foodstuffs as important foodstuff. We'll cook this kind of food, give to our children, and then we'll take food that has slept, food that is old food, food that is no longer that is stale, and then we give to our to other people's children. I wonder what we feel when we do this, because when God created us, God did not ask us to discriminate. God asked us to love just as he loved us and died for our sin. So why do we discriminate? And what on earth makes us to discriminate on children who are little children who normally should have love? Some women, they go to the market, they will buy dresses for their children. Hello, Queen, welcome. They will buy dresses for their children, and then they will go from the shop, then they will go to the what we commonly call Okrika place and buy dresses for other children. If you want to buy dresses for children from second hand, buy for every child. If you want to buy from a shop, buy for every child. It doesn't change anything. Remember that the food that they're eating, that you give to those children, all the food, whether it is stale food or it is freshly cooked food, all this food goes a long way to stop hunger. The same as all the dresses that you buy go a long way to clothe them. Therefore, it doesn't matter where you buy it from. What matters is the idea of discriminating against these children that is hidden in your mind and pushes you to do things for other children differently, and then you do for other children differently. Welcome, Oliver. I'm happy you're here. Why do we do things for some children differently? Why do some children are different just because maybe their parents are not us? Women, why do you treat children who live under your roof roughly? There are some children who come to us to work for us. They're our babysitters, they're our cooks, they're everything to us. And then we treat them so roughly, we treat them with a lot of hate, and we are so biased the way we treat them. My dear sisters, this is bad and it's a sin. God does not like when people discriminate. God does not accept discrimination. It has never been part of God's work.
I saw you come here, but I need your help.
Yeah.
That means eating something that is not good.
1 minute, please. I'll be back. I'll be right back. Let's go. Jaden, what is he eating? What is Jaden eating? I'm sorry for that. Yes, Oliver, I'm sorry. You know, because as I said the other day, we always have to go to when you're a grandmother like me, you should be able to take care of your grandchildren at all times. So when they jump in, I have to attend to them. You know, we women, we have made it a point to discriminate. A child is in your house. I see you, Aunt Lucy. I see all of you. I see you, Beatrice. We treat children as if they were not born of a woman, and as if they were not given as a gift to that woman by God. We do things that are not acceptable. If a child is living with you, if you don't want to take good care of somebody's child, do not take that child to live and work for you. Because a child cannot be working for you, cooking for you, doing dresses for you, doing your house chores, being there for you, taking care of your children, but you cannot take care of that child. It doesn't make sense, and it is stupid for people to behave like this. So I'm shouting out to all the women, review, those women who do those things, review your characters, change. And Lucy says, thank God you are speaking out because I've been treated this way before. You see, there are many people, thank you, Bobby. There are many people who have been treated like this. There are many people, if people were to come out with testimonies, it will be You will be shocked at what you will hear people say. Oliver says they cannot hide the discrimination. Yeah, it is true. They don't hide it. They just do it so glaringly, and then they do it with such comfort. And you keep wondering, do they even think if their children were also to move to another person's house? Do you for once stop and think, if I'm not here today, my children will be at the mercy of other women also? Sometimes we are treating children who are orphans. Somebody dies, you take the children, you are showing to the public that you are taking care of those children. But in the closet of your house, you are treating those children so rough and so bad. God is watching. Remember that God is watching and God is seeing you. If you want to treat somebody's child, treat that child like your own. I am shouting out on all of us women. We have to review our way of treating other people's children, because that constitutes a form of violence that leaves a scar that is unforgettable in that life of that child. If you have a child in your house who is a house girl, treat that child with love. Remember, your life depends on that girl. When you leave your house, that girl is there. That girl can cook food and poison you. That girl can kill your children. That girl, so that girl is somebody who needs to be very, very respectful. Callista says mine was the worst case. You see, many people have these testimonies. Why do we discriminate? You cook food, you don't want to serve all the children at the same time. Some children are eating on the table. Some children are eating in the kitchen, on the floor. Doesn't make sense. Some children are eating in breakable plates. Some children are eating in plastic plates. Come on. It doesn't make sense. Oh, my dear, share the video. My dear Calist, share the video so that some people can also enjoy in Europe there. We need to review our attitude and our way of behavior towards children that God has entrusted to us. Whether they are your biological children or they are just children you meet even on the street. Because if God does not purpose it, you will not meet a child that you should treat in life. There are some women who don't even have other people's children to look after. There are some women who do not have other people's children to look after. So if God has even given you your own and has given you other people's children to take care of, you have to be a nice mother to these children. God made us women and made us mothers, not only mothers to children that we deliver. Oliver says, Mom, I think like you are saying. I always think of my child in the same position, but that can only happen if you have a conscience. Yes, my dear, that is true. But everybody has a conscience. What is a conscience? Conscience is the voice of God in us. That is what we call conscience. So why is it that we are all made in the image of God and some people's consciences have died? Why have they killed their consciences? Where have they kept their consciences? Why are they hiding their consciences to the extent that they misbehave without knowing? That is what we are talking about. If you are a human being, a woman created in the image of God, and asked to stay on this earth as somebody who should be the mother of the family, you are supposed to mother every child who comes into your ring with all the love and care that God has given you in your heart. That's what I believe. We are mothers of the universe. If you treat children wrongly, you are training people with wrong attributes and wrong characters. Remember the saying that train a woman and you have trained the world. Meaning that if a woman is of good character, the world will be of good character. Because if you, a woman, while raising children, if you raise them with love, with care, with concern, with gentleness, and you show them virtues that are good, you show them the attitude of humility, patience, you translate all of this to those children. When the children go out to the world will be a better place to live in and people will be happy. Oh, Bobby Diana Joseph says the way a marriage is contracted will determine the way husband and wife behave. You are right, my brother. That is true. That is a key ingredient to a good marriage, construction of the marriage. As we said yesterday, if you construct your marriage on a sandy ground, the house will tumble very fast because the foundation is not good. But what I am saying here is that if you are a woman and fall in love with a man who has children already, whether he is a widower or he divorced or he has adopted some children he's taking care of or his junior ones are living with him, when you are getting married to that man, know that you are getting married to a package and you have to take care of those children like your own. You must not deliver your own child to be gentle. You must not wait until you have your own child to know how to treat children. The way you treat those children will make God to understand that you are a good woman, and God will bless you even more. And why not bless you with your own children? Why do we women treat other people's children roughly? If you are getting married to a man who has children, you have to consciously, when saying yes, consciously say yes to the man and his package. It is very important, sisters. It is very important. Because after all, there is no child who is born, who is an animal. Every child is a human person. Yes. And every child has blood running through their veins. Just as you carried your child for 9 months, and then you delivered the child, that is how every other woman carries their children for 9 months, and then they go through the same process of delivery. Meaning that the same pain that you got is the same pain that every other woman had. Therefore, your child is not more special than other people's children. Every child is the same. Because every child comes through the same way. Every child has a gestation period of 9 months. Goes through that gestation period of 9 months. And every child goes through labor. And every child comes out through labor. Therefore, just as you spill blood to have your daughter or son, that is how every other person does. And today I am here to shout out to all of us women. We have to reactivate the love of God, the love that only God puts in us. Because when you have that, God will bless you. And he will not relent in blessing you. God has never relented in blessing people who trust in him and who do his will, who live according to his promise. Because he has said in his word that he will grant the desires of our hearts. So if the desire of your heart right now is that God should help you to become a better woman so that you can be a good mother to every child that you come across, you have to be that. You have to pray that prayer, and God will grant the desires of our hearts. Some of us, there are some women who got married to men and they were not having children. Then they stayed. They were taking care of some children. Some of them, they will even go and adopt a child. And then when they come and they're taking care of that child, God will bless them with their own children. And immediately God blesses them with their own child, they will just transfer all the love on that child. I've seen it on films and it happens. They will just hate that other child with a passion, transfer all the love that they had for that adopted their child, and completely forget about that child. Really? We have to change our character. It is not acceptable that we do that. It is not acceptable. You must not take care only to your child. You must not take care only of your child. You must not be gentle only to your child. You have to be gentle to every child. Whether it's your biological child, it's your biological sister, it's your sibling or not. You have to. Clarice says, when you maltreat these children, you are instead building them to get stronger and industrial while your own children suffer. Perfectly right. You are right. There are some homes where people have maltreated people's children, and then the children have, through the difficulty, become so mature and so industrious in future. And then those children who were pampered, cajoled, have become useless. We see them. We see that in many homes. Please, no child has the right to suffer. And no child should undergo hardship before learning how to be nice. Every child has to be trained by the mother or by the parents at any point in time. Those children have to be trained properly so that they become better children in future. So that these children can make the world a beautiful place where all of us are living and happy. We say that the family is the smallest unit of the society. Yes. Show me the families in a society and I'll tell you how the society is. Hi, Chanceline, welcome. The family is the smallest unit of the society, meaning that if families in the society are grooming well-behaved people, that society will have well-behaved people in that society. That society will be tagged as a good society, because if the families are good, then the same people who live in the families, in the closet of a family, they're the same people who go out and they make that society. My dear brothers and sisters, we have to rethink how we treat people, especially children. There are some women who live with children in their home. They treat the children very bad when their husbands are not there. They will treat them very bad, but when the husbands are there, they will pretend, give them good food, pretend to be nice to the children. Immediately the man is going out, you will drag the child's ears and you will punish the child even for that pretense that you did. All the stress you went through trying to pretend while your husband was there, you will remove the stress and put on that child. God is watching you, remember. God is watching you. And on the judgment day, you are going to answer to God. How did you treat those people I entrusted in you? How did you treat the people I entrusted to you? Are you that person who wants to send all your children to good schools and then the other children you send to day schools? Are you that person? You have to be careful because God is watching you. Why not identify schools and send the children to any school that the child likes to go? Why don't you give that opportunity that you are giving to your children to all the children that God has given to you? God is watching you without any negotiation, because children are blessings. If children are blessings, it means that when God blesses you, He watches every minute of yours. He watches how you bring up those children. He watches what you do with those children. So if you start treating, I see you, my dear sister Hyacinta, welcome. If you are treating your biological children very well and treating other children who are living with you poorly, God is watching you. And that is violence. That is real violence against women, because you are violating that mother, and against children, and against God. Above all, sin. If you are violating a child born of a woman, you are doing something that is very, very dangerous. I am pleading on women to rethink. Should you be called woman? Should you be called mother if you don't treat children well? Do you really, truly deserve that name, mother? On Mother's Day, when mothers are celebrating, do you celebrate? Do you celebrate? Can all the children living under your home say Happy Mother's Day to you? Or only your biological children say it genuinely and all the other children just say it because if they don't say it, they will not have the opportunity to live in that home again? We have to rethink. The world is changing and all of us are learning. If ever you have been a bad mother, it is not too late to change, because every day is learning until we die. Even on our dying bed, we learn how to die. Nobody knows how to die. So you are supposed to be learning every day. If you have been living a rough life towards other people's children, I am calling on you today to change. Last night, this message came to me very strongly, that women have to change their way of treating other people's children. Some women even go to the extent of treating even their own children like trash. They don't care for their children. Some women, let me tell you something, no matter the beautiful life you live, when once you have children, you have to change your lifestyle, because you have to negotiate, you have to plan in such a way that you give time to your children. If you're a woman who does not give time to your children in the name of work, you don't have time for children living under your home because you are always at work, you are so busy, then you are going to account for how you brought up those children, because God will ask you, what did you do with those children I entrusted to you? Many of us claim to be so busy. You cannot be too busy to take care of the children that God has given you. Thank you. Takan Melvin says, your message will change most of the women. I pray, and I really pray in Jesus' name that it does. Then my dear sister says, congrats for the job. Well done, sis. How I wish they are listening. I pray, my sister, they can listen if you share this video. Everybody should share the video. Post it on your wall. Post it on your groups. Let the people hear it. Put comments and continue to share the video. People will hear. We are in this is our own little way, me and you, to change the world. That's our own little contribution. If you are a woman and you are working, you have to plan your work. Plan your work such a way that you give time to those children that God has entrusted to your hand. Don't never you say you are too busy to take care of your children. Because if you are too busy to take care of your children, it means that you are not happy and thankful that God gave you those children. Whether they are your biological children or they are just children that you have met on the way of your life growing up. If they are street children that you have taken up, you take them. In fact, I visited one center in Douala owned by Mr. and Mrs. Sylvester. I have never forgotten the memories of that center. And if I have my way, I will go there time and time again. I would like to go there as many times as possible. Because this man and his wife, they have chosen to spend their life, the rest of their life, taking care of children. Street children, abandoned children. You go there, you see the work they do, you see the love they give to these children. You wonder. You just have to pray that God should give you that kind of heart. I am so happy that my daughter's birthday, she was going to visit such a place, and we took time to go to Douala. I will go there again and again. Because just visiting that center makes you to know that there are people on this earth who are able to take care of all children, and you can learn from them. That is the spirit that God wants us to have. That is the way that God wants us to behave. That is how God wants us to treat children that have been entrusted to us. No matter the way that you get these children, you may get these children through your family. It may be the children of your sister. It may be the children of your mate who has died and allowed the children and left the children behind. It may be orphans that you just saw suffering. It may be street children. It may be children that the church has given you, because sometimes churches give some of those children to their Christians. I don't know. It may be in any way that God has chosen to pass these children to your home. My dear brothers and sisters, especially to us sisters, I think that is an opportunity. If God gives you that opportunity to have children that you can take care of and be truly known as a mother, not only being a mother to your biological children, but being a mother to many more children, you have to say thank you to God, and you have to do it in such a way that blessings will go to you, and then God will be glorified. You have to do it in such a way that God's glory will be seen through you. You know, that's another way of preaching. I don't think that preaching Christ to the world is just simply by going to church, reading the Bible. Preaching Christ to the world is through your attitude, through your behavior. I think that Christianity is a way of life, not praying in public anyhow, not making people to think that you are Christian, whereas inwardly you are not. Your way of life will make people to see Christ in you, and they will follow Christ. That is a way to preach Christ and bring Christ to people. Welcome, Doctor. I see you, Dr. Praxidis. The way you treat children will project to the children and to your neighbors, to the world, that you are radiating God's love. That love that God had when he sent his only son to die for you and I, when we were all sinners and God had no sin. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? So why can't we radiate it even through the children that God has entrusted to us? God may give you these children in all ways. There are some of us that God has not given us children biologically, but God has given us so much money. How are you using your money? Do you go out and look for other children who are suffering out there and you take care of them? Or you just say that no, I'm waiting for my own biological child to take care of? Women, it is about time we have to rethink and redefine our way of doing things. We have to, thank you, my dear, just as beautiful as you. We have to redefine our way, our relationship with children. A good child is not only the one that you carried for 9 months and delivered. A good child is every child that lives with you. Every child that you meet, be a mother. My question again, how many of us are bragging and accepting Happy Mother's Day on Mother's Day? Are we truly seen as mothers? Are we really mothers? Are you a true mother to the world? Will you happily take Happy Mother's Day and then you are so happy you go and sleep with all the fulfillment that I am a proud mother and is proud that people are telling me Happy Mother's Day? If you are that mother who cooks food, you cook rice and then you take fufu that has slept for days and give to other people's children, then you give your children rice that you cook today. Change. If you are that mother where your children are sleeping on the bed and then other people's children are sleeping on the floor. Not because there is no space on the bed, but because you don't want people's children to sleep on the same bed with you. You have to change. If you are that mother who would take your children to go and relax in trade fairs, you go and enjoy yourself in trade fairs and do things, and then you will not take other people's children. You have to change. If you are that mother who will have all the money on earth to pay for your children's schooling, but you would think that you will not have money to pay for the schooling, even in a public school, to pay for other people's children, you have to change. If you are a young girl and you're planning to get married, Nyang, I see you. Jacqueline, I see you. If you are planning to get married and you are falling in love with a man who has children, you have to think. If you are not convinced that you are going to love this man as a package with his children, it is time for you to withdraw from that so-called love. You do not love that man, because if you truly love the man, you will love the man with his children. Many children have gone astray because we women have gotten married to their fathers and have forced the fathers to hate the children, and have caused the fathers to drive the children out of home, and have made the fathers to think that their children are thieves, their children are prostitutes, just because we want to ascertain our position. Come on! That is not ascertaining your position. That is being stupid, because just what you are doing to those children, God will punish you for that. What you are doing for those children, to those children like that, will come back to you in a way. That is why I agree to what Clarice said. Most of these children who are treated roughly like that, they learn through the hard way and they become very good children. I can testify to that. And then at the end of the day, those are children that you were cajoling, you were making them like kings and queens, princesses and princes, they turn out to be useless children. Do you want your children to be useless? That is the natural law. If you cannot take care of other people's children, how on earth do you think that your children will become good children or in future? Many of us are doing that. We fall prey to this. We do this sometimes without even knowing that it's bad. And I'm here to remind us that that attitude is not good. If you have a child, be happy with other people's children. If you don't have a child, because God made you to be mother, love other people's children. Genuinely, if you don't love them, God will not bless you. That is what we don't know. Blessings come in different ways, and they can only come to you if you are able to take care of what God has put in your hands in a proper way. God gives us children. Children belong to God. The Bible says, train up a child the way that child should grow. When the child is old, that child will not depart from that training that you gave to that child. That is true. So if you are taking care of people's children and you are not training them with virtues that they will grow up to be like that and remain like that, then you are deconstructing the world. Will you deconstruct the world, my dear sisters? Will you deconstruct this world? Thank you, Barry. Welcome, my dear. Will you deconstruct the world through your stupidity, your hardness towards people's children? Will you deconstruct God's order of the world by being a bad mother simply because you want to ascertain your position? If you're a young girl and you are falling in love with a man who has children and you think that you cannot love those children, don't get married to that man. It's vice versa. If you're a young man and you want to get married to a woman who has children and you think you cannot be a father figure to those children, don't get married to that man, that lady. There are so many women today who are either single ladies with children, who are maybe young widows with children, who are maybe divorcee with children. And you may fall in love with such a woman. What happens to their children? You have to take care of those children. You have to truly and genuinely take care of these children. You don't have to say that, no, I'm waiting for my own children. There are some people who have fallen in love with women today and have refused to get married to them because the women have children. They call them second hand. They have children. And there are some of us women who will advise a man not to get married to another woman because we will say, you want to go and get married to a second hand woman? You want to go and get married to a woman who already has children? Is it better to know that a woman has children, or to know to get married to a woman who has removed all her children and dumped somewhere through abortion? What is better? Which is better? All of them are sin, but which is better? Huh? Is it better to be confessing to God and asking for forgiveness and praying that God should bless you with a child that you will deliver with this new man, having other children, or to be praying when you had already scraped out your womb and there is no way a child can stay there? My dear sisters, we have to rethink, redefine our strategy of motherhood. Be a mother of reference. Be a mother who has something to offer to the world. Be a mother that people can like to come closer. Are you a mother? Some of us women, when children call us mothers, we shout at them. We want to. Sometimes I laugh because some of us think that if they call us mother, it means that we are old. You are not old. It is being mother, being known as mommy or mother doesn't make you old. You can be a mother even to people who are older than you in your character. So you stop being wild on children because they call you mommy. Don't say you are calling me mommy, am I your mother? That is dignity. It is dignifying when you are called mommy. To those who don't know, when you are called mommy, is dignity, and is a kind of dignity that only true mothers will actually have the feeling. Berry says, such women only turn to show fake love when fate has hit them hard and they experience delay of fruits of the womb. Yes, you are right. Some of them will treat people's children wrongly until someday they will turn around and pretend that we love you just because finally they don't have their own. You must not only love your child. You will have to love every child. From today on, if you don't love every child, never you accept Happy Mother's Day. Because you are supposed to be the mother of the world. Never you accept Happy Mother's Day at all. You have to be a happy mother if you are a good mother to all the children, the ones that you have delivered and the ones that you have met on the way, the ones that you know and the ones that you do not know. Dr. Praxis says, tell them, sis, this is a define. Hope women heed to this advice. I pray so too, my dear, and we can pray, and we also need to share the video so that many more women can listen to this voice. It is not me talking, it's God talking. Hanson, I see you. Welcome, my son. Greetings to your wife and child and children. My Valley is there too in the house. Welcome, Emma. Look, we have to rethink if we are women who are actually within the creation that God made. Because when God created man, I will always quote this, he found out that man was not complete, and only man alone, there will be no family, and the world will not replicate. God might have used another way, but God chose to use the way of bringing a woman into man's life so that we can procreate and create more people in the world and replicate God's creation. God will replicate the world through us women. God gives us the children, we carry them for 9 months gestation, and then we go through labor, we deliver them. The way you did to have your own biological child, that is the way I did. That is the way woman A, B, C, D, and E did. So it is useless for you to be rough handling another person's child because you think that it is not your biological child. It is useless because the same process you had to have your biological child is the same process every other woman had to have their own child. Meaning that no child is lesser or higher than the other one. You may be a rich person and you deliver your child and have money to handle that child well. It doesn't change the fact that that child is the same like other children. We have to stop looking at children as second-class citizens because they are not our children. If you are getting married to a man who has children, be consciously prepared to take care of those children, to be a mother figure to those children. If you are getting married to a man who has a wife and you chose to go and get married to that man as a second wife, be cautiously prepared to stand a mother figure to that man's children with the other wife. Those children have no right to suffer, and even that woman, you don't have to hate her because she did not ask you to come into her house. We women, we are doing some stupid things that really are making us to suffer in life. If you accept to take yourself, pull your head into the guillotine, accept what the guillotine gives you. If you decide to go and stand under a cold shower, No matter how the cold shower is cold, you have to withstand it. You don't have to start to get into somebody's marriage and then you start hating on the person and her children. Did she invite you to come in? Did she tell you she wanted an assistant? Because if you go in as a second wife, you are an assistant in that marriage. In everything. You are an assistant as a wife. You are an assistant as a cook. You are an assistant as a mother. You are an assistant in everything. You chose to do it. You have to take care of those children. The children did not invite them to get married to their mother. Yes, my dear, likewise the men. I have been saying it and I've been quoting that men, if you don't love a woman's children, don't get married to the mother. And start telling the woman that your children are prostitutes. Start insulting the children, you are as bad as your mother. Because something that men do, when children are bad, they are the mother's child. When they are good, they are the father's child. We have to rethink, redefine what we want. Bingwin says, oh, shout it louder, Mom. Yes, my dear. Some people are so heartless. We are so heartless. We have to rethink. We have to review our minds. Review what we think motherhood is. Motherhood is not just you being a mother to your child. At all. It has never been that. Motherhood is when you can be a mother of every child around. Hey, my sister Consi, Dr. Consi said, sis, I think this is a very good topic. Having gone through this as a child, I understand exactly how victims feel. In Africa, the impact on the victim, let me see. Wow, she has written a very good write-up. The impact on the victim seems to always be underestimated, but this has long-term effects in later life. In the Western countries, it is a serious issue, often described as child abuse, either physically or emotionally or both. This has given rise to safeguarding. I think the issue of safeguarding should be explored and possibly implemented in Africa. Since I think you are in a very good position to see this happen. After exploring it, putting systems in place to identify these abusers may be the way forward. Thank you, my dear. We are working on that. We are working on that. There are many safeguard measures for us to control the way people are treating other people's children. I like what you said, that when a child is treated like this in her younger life, his or her younger life, when that child grows up, those memories follow that child throughout their life because they need to go through trauma healing. That is true. Doctor, I thank you so much for this, what you have written. It will edify many people. And I am praying and calling on all the women. Let's go into our societies, our communities, and be agents of change. Let us explore the Child Rights Convention. There is a convention, a UN convention on the rights of the child. Let's look at that. There are many, many different instruments that we can use, even only the Universal Declaration on Human Rights. If you are somebody who reads it properly, you will see that you don't need to treat somebody less of a human being just because you think that you are better off. We have to change our attitudes, our characters, and our behaviors in all ways possible because God is calling on us to do it. Yes, Berry, that's a very wonderful write-up, and I appreciate Doctor for that. She always comes in with a very good input. We have to think, if you want to be a mother, you must stop treating people's children under your roof wrongly because the effects follow in the long term, as Doctor has said and as Berry has reiterated. The effects follow in the long term. And that is why today you see some women, they are so reserved, they are so withdrawn. Some people are so withdrawn because when they were growing up, they were never given the opportunity even to state their point. They were looked upon as a piece of trash. And each time they had no opinion. Some boys are not able to stand out and talk out. Because when they were growing up, they were treated as subhumans. My dear sisters, the world is changing. We are in the 21st century. The world is changing. We are in a world where things are evolving. Can we also evolve with our characters, with our behaviors towards one another, with the way we treat children entrusted to us? It is very important that we try to evolve because it doesn't give you any chance better when you behave in such a way. When you behave in such a way, you are only building a personality who in future will always look back at you as a dangerous person. I bet you these children who stay quiet and grow up with all this trauma, all this psychological and emotional violence on them, when they grow up, they always, when they think of you, they wonder if you were really human. And when they think of you like that, they are not praying for you. Therefore, how many of us want to have many children who will be praying for us? Because when you have children who pray for you, God's work in you is seen vividly. Because, there are nights that you will rush to bed tired without praying. But there will be a child somewhere who will be praying for you because you treated that child someday good. If we want to live a beautiful life, let us start treating everybody we find along the route of our lifetime on earth here with humanity. Let us, in fact, within our families, between husband and wife, somebody said earlier that a marriage succeeds depending on how they contracted it. Now, I think it's about time when we women and men, when we meet and want to get married to the younger generation, we have to come up with how we want our marriage to look like. And we need to include children. How do we want our children to be treated? Whether they are our biological children or they are children living under our roof. I have seen women who go to the village. There's a class of women who go to the villages, bring children to town, and then they come and sublet those children to work for people. Those people pay the salaries of those children to them. Shame on you. Shame on you. Instead of advising your family members to put these children to school and make these children grow up to be better people, you go and then you make the children you take the children and you come and you are subletting as if you are subletting something for rent. They are paying to you. I tell you, God is going to question you and you're going to answer to God someday. You will answer to God someday. God will ask you, what did you do? I gave an example someday of a child who was taken by the auntie, brought to Bafusam, and was forced to sell meat. If they give her meat for 5,000 and she doesn't bring back 5,000, she has to make up the money. Where do you want her to take the money from when she's coming back with the rest of the meat? And then you ask that child to go and sell during unhealthy hours. The child has to stay throughout the night until that child was raped severally by several men. And that child almost died. Until we rescued that child and took that child to the hospital. And this is done by women. Women who carry children in their wombs, labor and deliver. You treat another man's child like that. Some of us women in towns who have maybe bars or some kind of businesses, go to the town, to the villages and take people's children, bring them to town, and then we give the children to men. We force those children to indulge in prostitution, especially girls. That is violence on women, sisters. That is violence and it is unacceptable. Many people are doing this in town. And the mothers in the villages genuinely give their children to you with all love. They give their children with all love. They don't hesitate to give their children. They just give their children. They give their children with the love that comes from the heart of a mother, hoping for a better future for those children. So why do you take these children and then you go and indulge these children in activities that are neither helpful to the children, to you, or to the family? Why do we do that? God is watching. God's eyes never close. He is watching. And he is watching. In fact, he's just standing by and looking at you like this. And wondering, shaking his head maybe. Wondering if this is the person I created to be the salt of the world, to be the light of the world. You are the light of the world. A city built on the mountain cannot be hidden. Are you that city built on the mountain? Are you lighting up where you are supposed to be by treating these children fairly? How do you treat the children that live with you that are not your biological children? Welcome, Faith. If you think that you can only treat your biological children well, know that God will ask you, how did you treat the children are entrusted in your hands? As I say, and I will say it loud and clear again, if you are a mother who does not treat children well, don't ever accept Happy Mother's Day. Because no bad mother should be given that opportunity of accepting Happy Mother's Day. Sometimes those children you are treating poorly, they will tell you Happy Mother's Day just to cover up, because if they don't say it, you will beat them. My dear, if they say it and you are not treating them well, don't take it, because you are not a mother. A mother is a woman who treats every child equally. Children are a gift from God. Children should not be treated with such hate, such disdain that, in fact, such hate that can kill. You cook food and then you take stale food and give to a child. Do you know what that food will do to that child's stomach? Wow. You put your children to sleep on the bed and you force other people's children to sleep on the floor, not because the bed is full, just because you hate that these children should sleep with your children. You go to the market, you buy clothes for your children, and then you look for racks or old clothes of your children to give to other people's children. Really? That is dangerous. Oliver says some mothers do this to their children when a mother accepts gift from her daughter who is not working. Yeah, some do that. Some do that. Because they take their children and they accept gifts from their children. They tell their daughters, you are big. Look at that other lady's daughter. She's already bringing back money to their house. What are you doing in this house? Then you force your child to go out and prostitute. Are you a good mother? Are you an example? Faith says, Faith, thank you, my dear. Are you a good example to that child? Are you training that child to grow up in such a way that when that child is old, they will not depart from that? We need to review our attitudes, sisters. We need to. If these women, all of us women, who are so proud to say that we are 51% of the world, if we behave well, what a beautiful world we'll have. If we behave well, we will build a beautiful world, because we are the first teachers of children. So when you teach discrimination at home, you are telling the children that when they go out, they should discriminate. When you teach discrimination, that's corruption. When you are corrupting the minds of the children at home, you are training them that when you grow up and go to school, start working, you should be a corrupt person. So we should stop looking at some of these vices that exist in our society as if they are coming from some dreamland. They come from us. We are the ones who have trained our children. We women, mothers, teachers of the world. When you teach discrimination in your home, what do you expect that this child will do when they grow up and they are sitting in an office? That your child that you never treated well will learn that you treated so well, and if you never treated that other child well in favor of your child. This your child that you treated with all favoritism will practice favoritism wherever they work, and they will treat people they love differently, treat people they don't know differently. That is what we are training. So what virtues are you putting back on the children as you bring them up? As a mother, as a woman who should be an example through your character, your action, and whatever thing you do. We have to rethink and review our attitudes, because our children are looking up to us every day like this. Yesterday when we were chatting, somebody said we should also talk to women because women run their mouth so much. Yes. That's one of the attributes that we teach children. We run our mouths. We are a village gossip. In the quarter, everybody knows us for gossiping. We even gossip among the children. We gossip the children to each other. And then when our husband says one thing, we say 10. You are teaching your child that when you grow up and get married, that is exactly how you should behave to your husband. That's what you're teaching your child. Hey, Barry says, even amongst friends, kids to take for weekend or holidays. Yes, sometimes when they are taking children for weekend to go and stroll, they will not even take those other children. You don't know the future. Give me a child who grows up badly, and then I tell you how bright her future will be, or his. You don't know how these children will be. And thank God for Nigerian films. They have exposed all of these things to us. When I'm looking at a Nigerian film, I'm looking it to comprehend the message. The teaching that is there. You see a woman will treat another woman's child so badly, so poorly, and then that child will end up that woman will end up being only at the mercy of that child they treated badly. Are we not learning, sisters? We should be able to learn from these films. When you watch these films, don't just laugh and say this Nigeria is a bad country. Because as you are saying this Nigeria is a bad country, you are doing it in your home not knowing. You have to look, is there anything that I do that resembles what I'm seeing in that film? And change, sisters. Because these children, when they grow up, they will become better people and your children will be lost. My faith has jumped it there. Faith says, the issue is women are the key to every child's success. When we teach them well, the society at large will be great. Most often, those children who are over-pampered do not turn out to be good in character. Perfect word, my daughter. You can say that again and again. Most of these children who are so-called pampered children, we call them ajebo children. They grow up to be terrible children. And they grow up to be dangerous elements to the society. Some of them, you see them in cities wearing coats, holding briefcases, moving around, claiming to be officers when they are doing nothing. Then they resort to scamming. Most of these scammers are this kind of children. They resort to lying. They resort to stealing because they want to eat what they cannot work. In fact, there are so many things that they do. They do things. That is why the society is bad today, Faith. My dear Faith, you have just nailed it. The society is bad today because mothers have left what their duty is and they are running behind the sunshine. Behind the clouds, not the sunshine. If you are a working class woman, a career woman, make time for your family. If you don't train your children to construct them, some other person next door will deconstruct them with vices that you don't want. If you think that you can provide everything for your children and you don't train the children with character, that everything you are giving to those children, you are only telling them that in future you have to enjoy life like this without working. We have to make our children to be useful, not useless individuals. We have to make our children to be useful human beings, to be people who will put something back to this world before they leave. And you as a mother, you are putting something back to this world before you leave by training those children with virtues that they will not depart from them when they grow up, as the Bible says. That is you putting something back to this world. Because everywhere when they see that child and ask, whose child is this? And they say that child is, the mother is A, B, or C, people will say, no wonder. I thought so. Because they will not in agreement because they know that you are a good woman. So what is your character towards your friends? Are you a friend who gossips? Are you somebody who hates others with a passion? If you are a woman who hates other women with a passion to the extent that you even threw out words in your home to the hearing of your children, you are just telling your children that in future, that is how you should relate with people. If you are a gossip, a slanderer, if you smear campaign people, I bet you your children are following you up. Because children learn from example more than from what you say. Don't be like the people who say, do what I say, not what I do. Let people do what you say and what you do. That is what will make you a wonderful person. Hey, welcome, Leonie. Thank you. Jerry, welcome. Leonie says, wonderful topic. Tell them, yes, my dear, share the video so that many more people will say. Barry says, oh, mommy, you nailed it and us African moms are missing in this. Yes, we are not good examples. Let us know today that any child that comes out from our womb or that grows up with us or that we meet on the way and we can give cold water to that child, if that child becomes a bad child, God will ask you. The Bible says it, train up a child in the way the child shall grow so that when the child is old, they will not depart from it. Children have departed from good ways because we have not trained them. And today you hear them saying, those bad children, hey, what are we going to do with these children? Children nowadays, oh, children's right has done this. Children's right does not say that children should be bad children. Children's rights say that we should treat them with human feeling and we should bring them up in right ways because rights go with obligations. Are we giving only rights to our children, or are we telling them their obligations? For example, if you provide every school need for your child, that is his right. And his obligation is to take care of those school needs, is to be successful in exams, is to do well in school, is to be well behaved in school. Those are their obligations. So when we talk rights to our children, let's give them their obligations so that they should not depart from those things when they grow up. Faith says our country people them. Empty verse. I don't know what she was saying, but she says there are many people who insult children, empty vessels. Yes, we insult children. This good for nothing child. How can you call a child good for nothing when that child is supposed to be good for something through you? If that child is good for nothing, you are good for nothing too. Yes, because you did not give that child an example to be good for something. We say, look at this useless child. If the child is useless, you the mother, I am tagging us women because we are the helpmate of the men. Meaning that we must institute good virtues in our homes, to our children, and even to the men. That's why they call men man picking. They are our first children. Because you leave your children only to the men, they will just be busy. They will provide everything, but they will not train the children. So we women, if you call a child useless child, this good for nothing child, this empty vessel, it means that you are also. You are an empty vessel. You are good for nothing. You are a useless person. Yes. If you call children like that, if you discover that your child is behaving like a good for nothing, it means that you are not doing your work. You just have to re-strategize and redefine. You can even triangulate with some women. Learn from some people. Study how they bring up children. Go to your pastor. Invite God to help you so that your children, you can redirect your children. You know what? My mother used to tell us when we were ripe for marriage. What my mother always said was that you are sitting on the driver's seat and you are the one turning the steering. If you turn the steering wrongly, your family will enter the bush. If you don't drive your children rightly, your children will lose out. Please let the comments be coming while I get some water to drink. Thank you. Thank you, sisters. I needed this water. So we have to, as we are moving towards the close of our discussion, I want us to know that God did not make a mistake to create you and I, woman, and to make us mothers. And being a mother, look at somebody like Faith. Faith is a young girl, but Faith has mothered so many children that I can testify. That is what motherhood is all about. A young girl, a young child, when once you are born a woman, a girl, you are a mother. Let's stop this nonsense of saying that, no, I never heard, when they call a young girl, mommy, hello, mommy. No, who be your mommy? Some of us, even old women, you call who mommy, I born you. When once you are a woman, you the born, whether you don't get your biological picking or not, whether you don't reach for born or not. Let's know this. Faith says women are the ones to speak good and greatness into children's life, and yet they curse. Where am I there? We are supposed to breathe in positive air into our children rather than cursing our children. When we curse our children, we are cursing ourselves. When you curse your children, you curse yourself. Let us remove these curses, break these curses by preaching goodness into the lives of our children. Barry says, wow, mommy, I'm just so proud of you, your selective and needed topics in the building of the community and the world at large. I give God the glory, my dear. All glory to God. We have to stand out and stand tall as mothers. If your child is bad, I will ask you, because God will ask you. So let us, like Faith has said, Faith has brought up a very serious point. We have to breathe in positivity to our children. Let's stop breathing in this negativity to our children. Let us stop pulling useless and negative attitudes to our children. Let us stop. Let us start giving virtues to our children. Children's right, yes. Children's right goes with obligations. You are right, yes. You have a right, mother, to be respected by your child. And you have an obligation to bring up that child correctly. I hope I'm making sense, because I'm giving you rights and obligations. When we just hear children's rights, I am in this house with my grandchildren. I will not just let a child misbehave and do things that are wrong because children have rights. You have to direct them. Before I went to fetch water, I told you that my mother always said, a woman, your family is like the car. Your husband is the steering and you are the driver. Sitting on that driver's seat and holding the steering. The minute you leave that steering, the car enters the bush. You hear what I say? Your husband is the steering and you are the driver. Meaning that you and your husband, you are carrying the rest of the family on you. If you, the woman, you leave the steering, your car will enter the bush. Because if you leave off good character, your husband will go off. If you behave in a stupid way, you are not able to, anytime he gets to the house, you are insulting the children. There is always tension in the house. Children are running. You are telling children, good for nothing, useless children, look at this, like father, like children. The man will just go and look for a place where when he goes, he has his cold head. Then he will turn your house to a hotel, because he will be sneaking in only to sleep. In the morning, he sneaks out. Barry says, some drive away their blessings when kids call them mom, and later when kids aren't coming their way, or whom they start running after prophecies. That's true. That is the truth. Sometimes you refuse that they should not call you mother. Doesn't make sense if they call you mother. Me, in my village, they call Nini. Nini means that old mother who is moving with a walking stick. And that is another way we honor our young children, that we see our mothers through them, our grandmothers through them, call them Nini. But when you see an old woman like me, they call you Nini, you get angry. Why do you get angry? You were once a girl. You were once a baby girl. You became a teenage girl. You became an adolescent girl. You are a mother, and you will one day be a Nini. So you are all. If you call me baby girl, I will answer. You call me teenage girl, I will answer. You call me mommy, I will answer. You call me mother, anything, I will answer. And I will answer with pride and love, because either I have already been there or I am still going to be there someday. It is a blessing. It is a wonderful blessing that not everybody sees, but I want us to see. Faith says, by cursing, you make the children believe what they are not. Some grow up knowing they are good for nothing just because you defined the child's life like that. You call them fools and they keep behaving foolishly. Remember, there is power in the tongue. Thank you, Faith. Oh, I wish you are always online when I come online, because you always drop the right thing. We breathe in what our children carry around with them. You see somebody, a woman who will get married and remain in a negative self-image. Remain negative. No, I'm not fit. I don't know nothing. I cannot do it. No. Some of we not ever do. Will we ever do so? Because we have told them that they are useless. They cannot do anything good. Really? Faith, thank you, my dear daughter. That is the truth. We breathe in negative things, negative breath into our children. And then when they grow up and they're breathing it out through their actions, we are shocked and say, well, this child is really a disgrace to us. I don't know why this child does this. Whereas we are the ones who gave it to them. My dear sisters and brothers, whoever is listening to this, my crooked voice, it is time God is calling on us to change. And we can change. Change we can. There's nobody who cannot change. You can change if you are open to change. If you want to change, just ask God. He's standing right by the corner there. God is standing right by you. And hey, Kenneth, my brother, welcome. Today you have made me online. God is standing just by you and just waiting for you to say that, Father, help me. I want to become a better person. Just ask him. He will help you to change. And make the effort. When you ask God, make the effort. Take the conscious effort. Make the conscious effort and the conscious decision to change. The thing is, change is the only thing that is constant. But many people talk of change and they don't want to change. If you want to change, sister, you will change. You can change. I tell you, there is joy in treating children the same. Even when the children are stubborn, they will never forget you. Even if the children don't take your treatment towards them as something good, one day, they will remember you and they will come back to you. They will be praying for you, even if they don't come back to you. They will pray for you every day. Sisters, the Bible has never said that you should treat only the children, treat people well only when they are behaving well to you. The Bible says that as a mother, we have to bring up our children in the way that they will not depart from, the ways of the Lord. Therefore, if a child is bad, as we say, we have to redirect that child and help that child to be good. You don't have to look at that child as a dangerous child. I was there, Christy, when you were online, and then my time came and I jumped out. Beautiful girl, welcome. We have to rethink. If you treat people's children roughly because you think that they are not your biological children, you are on the wrong road. I have said it. If you want to get married to a man who has children, make sure that you accept the man as a package. Accept that man with his children. Vice versa, if you are a man, you want to get married to a woman who has children, accept them as a package. If not, go you. Don't get married to a man and then you start treating his children wrongly and then you bring him to hate his children. Many women have done that. You go and tell a man that his children are prostitutes. These your children are thieves. I'm telling you, I'm the one sitting with these children. And then you set the father against the children. Why did you get married to the man? How on earth can you love the father and you don't love the children? Neither how on earth can you love the mother and you don't love the children? Don't tell the children that they're as bad, they're prostitutes like their mother, they're as bad as their mother. These children have no right to suffer. If you marry a man who has children, you must be a mother figure to those children. They must not be your biological children before you treat them with love. If you have children living in your home, treat them with love. They must not be your biological children, brothers and sisters. Those children deserve to be loved. They are created in the image of God. And God has blessed you. God has just taken you to another level by giving you children for you to be the custodian of those children. Take care of other people's children and God will bless you more and more. These children pray for you. Stop insulting children carelessly who live under your roof. Stop going home and bringing people's children that you come and give to people. In Yaoundé where I live, there are times that somebody will just come and say, I want a Bameda child. Why have we made people to think that Bameda children are those that should be walking in people's houses while their children go to school? We go and take people's children, come and give out to people to sell in their shops, to work for them, to babysit for them. And our children are going to school. Those people's children are going to school. What is the future of those children? What in your wildest mind do you think you are doing for that child? People should start employing workers and paying them properly to take care of their children. And allow other people's children to rest. To also become people in future. Gender stratification has killed the world. You remember the topic today was gender-based violence. How do we treat other people's children? That is the topic. If you are somebody who cannot treat another person's child as your child, then you don't have the right to be called mother, and you should never accept Happy Mother's Day. When that day comes, they say Happy Mother's Day, don't accept. Because your children are not only your biological children. God has made it so beautiful that there are so many children out there who are looking up to each one of us women. And as Faith said earlier, Faith said we are the teachers of the world. If you are a mother and you don't breathe in positivity to the children entrusted to you, know that you are putting the negativity you are putting in will be projected out in one way or the other. And Dr. Consilia said earlier that these things that the way we treat these children, she said she was a victim, and she can boldly say that that attitude, that treatment follows the child, the victim, throughout her life or his life. You can imagine that you just rough handle a child as the child is growing up with you, and then the child becomes a bad child throughout.
Grandma, I'm sorry, I come here.
Yes.
Grandma.
Yes. Say it. I'm listening.
Grandma.
So, yeah, say it. Talk.
You.
Yeah, I love you too. Go and take care of your brother. I'm coming. Go and take care of your brother. I'm coming very soon. Thank
Can
you.
you call the pizza man? I want pizza.
You want pizza?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love pizza.
I will tell mommy to call the pizza man. So just go and wait. Grandchildren. He wants pizza. Close the door. He wants pizza. You see, that is the beauty in bringing up children, because you enjoy them. Faith has said, yes, oh mommy, family is one of the greatest units that move me. I greatly hate injustice and don't like seeing it around me. The Bible says children are a reward of the womb. It doesn't matter whether whose womb they came from. They need to be loved and cared for. Yes, my dear, that is it. It doesn't matter whether the children who are a reward of the womb came through which womb. All what matters is that these children should be cared for. They should be brought up with love, with concern and care. Whoever is taking care of those children at any given time. We have to rethink our strategies, sisters. We have to reevaluate our strategies. If you have children, take care of those children and take care of any other child that comes your way. If they are your sister's children, take care of them. Some people treat their family, their siblings' children so rough. Whoa. Some people, and then if they are orphans, take care of them. God blesses those who take care of widows and orphans. If you are opportune to get married to a widow, and that widow has children, and you become a father figure, or you are opportune to get married to a widower who has children, and you become a mother figure to those children, God's blessings will flow on you, because you are doing just what the Bible says. I tell you, give me the families in the society, and I will tell you how the society is. How is your society? Is your society a better place because of you? Is your community good because of you? How is your neighborhood? Is your neighborhood using you as an example on how children should be brought up? Is your environment happy with you? Hi, Aisha, welcome, my dear. Hi, Elijah, welcome. However your society views you is the way you project yourself. Remember that the word of God is projected not through word of mouth, not only through reading the Bible, not through preaching the word, not through talking like I'm talking, but by action. The way you act is more preaching than any other thing. So mothers, before we go to the close of the day, I will review a bit. I cannot be able to review everything. But in short, we said, mothers, you are the pivot of the society. You are the main person that God has put to train the people of the world. That is why God created you. To be a helpmate to the men and to be the mother of the world. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether a child is your biological child or a child that you just met. I like what Faith just said, quoted from the Bible, that God is blessing the womb, the fruit of the womb, and it doesn't matter which womb. The child is a blessing of the womb. It doesn't matter which womb that child comes out from. Therefore, if you are opportuned, because it's an opportunity, it's a blessing that God gives. If God blesses you to have children, whether yours or other people's children, that you can cater for and bring them up, you should take it as a blessing, and you should do it with dexterity. You should do it with love. You should do it in such a way that the world will be happy that you are part of the world. You should do it in such a way that you can become a reference point, that people can quote, that when I see this child, I see the reflection of this woman or that girl or that or that. And as I said, it doesn't matter what age you have. What is important is, how do you bring up the children that God has entrusted to you? You may just be 10 years old and you're bringing up children. There are some children who have brought up their siblings. You may just be in a nursery school, the way you take care of. My daughter used to be called in the nursery school Mommy. They used to call her Remy because she was taking care of people who were even older than her, but just because she was big, she would carry them, you see her feeding them. That's motherhood. You have to take care of all the children around you, whether you are married or not, whether you have biological children or not. As far as you are a woman, you have something to put back to this world. What are you putting back to this world? If you cannot take care of some other woman's children, don't marry the man who has those children. If you cannot take care of another man's children, don't marry a man as a second wife and then begin to treat the first wife roughly and the children roughly, because they never ask you to come in. If your husband, I must say this before I end, because sometimes there are some men who just go around, sometimes they are tempted and then you see them having a child. If your husband steps out of the way and has a child out of wedlock when he is married to you, my dear sister, the Bible says that you can divorce in the face of adultery. But the Bible also talks about forgiveness and love. If you chose to forgive your husband, love that child. Don't hate that child, because God will hate you for that. If you chose to forgive your husband and accept that child and love that child. If you don't choose to forgive your husband, even if you divorce your husband, don't transfer the hate to that child, because that child never asked to be born. That child was simply just a blessing from God. There are many things that we do without knowing. Sometimes because of the emotions and the anger in us women or men, we will hate the children with a passion. When you hate these children with a passion, God is going to ask you, what crime did this child commit? You will not have anything to answer. So if you're getting married to a man or to a woman, check out if they have children and you accept to get married to them. Know that you are getting married to a package, and you have to love that man with his package, or love the woman with his package. If you chose, I say this to women, if you chose to be a second wife, it is not the place of the first wife to take your rubbish, to suffer. You don't have to go and bring trouble to the first wife and then start hating her children. She did not invite you to her house. The children did not invite you to come and marry their father. If you accept to do that, then you have to accept all the rubbish that comes with it. And then you should know that you are an assistant wife, you are an assistant cook, you are an assistant mother in that house. Because everything of yours will be second hand. I mean, will come second, not second hand. Everything of yours will come second because you came second. So if you are a mother and you cannot take care of other people's children, don't accept Happy Mother's Day when they wish you Happy Mother's Day. Because as a mother, you must not only mother children that come through you. You have to mother children that come through any other woman, because children are the blessing of the womb, as Faith has said. And it doesn't matter which womb the children come from. Faith says sometimes we hate those children. God refuses to give yours because he knows you can't take care of a child. Yes. When you hate other people's children, what happens is that God will refuse to bless you. Because how will God bless you when you are not a blessing to the other children that God has given you, not like biological children? You have to take care of those children. You have to take care of those children.
Tell mommy to buy pizza, and
yes.
Tell mommy to buy me new fire truck.
Yes.
Because that old fire truck,
yes, it's bad.
Old truck, and that
so
old
my dear sisters and brothers, yes, I heard you. I got you. I'm coming very soon. In a jiffy, I'll be there. Close the door. So I am telling you.
Come out soon.
Yes, soon I will come, very soon. I am telling you, my dear brothers and sisters,
Don't
that children.
Come in here, okay?
Yes, lock the door. I am telling you, my dear sisters and brothers. Sorry for that disturbance. We need that disturbance. Those are my grandchildren. And it will always happen like that. We love them. I love them so much. And I know you love them too. You see, since we are talking about children, when they drop in like that, it makes us to think, each of us, whoever you have as a child, treat that child with love. Treat that child with, breathe in positivity into that child. Stop calling that child useless. Stop calling that child good for nothing. Stop calling that child foolish, because that child will grow up projecting what you put into that child. My dear brothers and sisters, it is time for us to stop. But before we stop, I am calling on us women to say that this is a wake-up call. It is a wake-up call for us. And yes, Barry, that should tell mommy to send her to buy him a fire truck. Can you imagine? We have to, this is a wake-up call to us. We have to rethink and redefine our children raising strategies. If you have been a bad woman to the children that are entrusted to you, it is not too late to change. You can change. Don't reject change. Invite Christ into your life and he will help you. Invite Christ into your life and hold onto his garment. Tell him, I will not leave you. I will not let you go until you help me to change this bad habit. Until you teach me how to bring up my children the right way. Until you help me to stop training children to be corrupt. Until, you know, there are many things. We can change the world if we stop treating children wrongly, because we teach them how to be corrupt, we teach them how to discriminate, we teach them how to be bad people under our very roofs. Mothers, are you going to accept Happy Mother's Day the next day it comes up genuinely? If you know that you cannot accept it genuinely, you still have between now until May next year to change, so that when you are being wished Happy Mother's Day, you accept it and you are happy. You can sit back and braise some good chicken or fish and eat and be celebrating that you are a mother, a true mother that God gave to this world, that God blessed the world with, a true mother who will bring up every child entrusted to her with virtues that will make children to become better people in future. Thank you so much, my dear sisters. Continue to share the video. Yes, my daughter, thank you so much. I appreciate you and Barry a lot. Faith, Barry, you people make my day. And all the people who have been watching. My children came up, so many of them. I thank you for that. Please share this video. Let it reach to many people. Make many people follow it up. Even after we stop, continue to share. Invite your friends. Oh, Violet, you're coming in when I'm almost at the end. But the video is, you can listen to it after some time, after some few minutes. When I stop, you can still play all of it. So let us share the video to many people and make people to listen to them. The videos I am making, they are for no reason except to sensitize all of us, me inclusive. They will help all of us in one way or the other. Let us be true mothers, mothers of the society, mothers of the world. We are going to come with another topic the next day, and it will be still under violence on women. We will reveal the subtopic when it comes. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, my dear. I give God the glory for all of you. God bless you. Have a great weekend. Have a nice day with Jesus. Have a nice day. So have a nice day with Jesus and have a blessed weekend. Enjoy your day. I may come back later on to give a song that we can use to enjoy this weekend with. Thank you and bye-bye. Thank you for sharing. God bless you.